Welcome back for another video. Today we've got a micro carry pistol, being the FN Reflex. I have not fired this gun yet. Out of the box, we've got a owner's manual, something from the ATF. You can just toss that wherever. Let's see, some safety stuff, talks about pistol accessories, things like that. And then of course you've got your FN Reflex. So you've got a unloaded firearm, and coming with it out of the box is going to be basically a flush fitting magazine holding 11 rounds. It does have a small little extension on there, and it comes with an additional base plate if you want a truly flush fitting magazine. You don't lose any capacity, you just lose a little bit of grip on the gun. So I'm only getting about 2 fingers on there. I can almost get a third, but it is small enough, and the ergonomics are good enough that you could fire this just fine with that. So 11 round magazine, and it's also coming with an extended 15 round magazine. So that gives it a full size grip, get whole hand on there, very good feel, feels great. So you get 11 rounds in a flush fitting magazine and 15 in an extended magazine. So why did I pick the FN Reflex? I picked the FN Reflex because it's something a little different compared to what I would normally carry or buy. It's still going to be in that same class, obviously, with the micro carry pistols. I like the looks of it, for one. They do FDE very well over at FN. They make the SCAR. They just do a great job with FDE. We went over the magazines, the grip. Like I mentioned, the ergonomics. You've got some more aggressive stippling on the front and back, and on the sides you've got I would say just a mild texture, but good enough that you definitely feel like you'll get a good grip on this gun. It's got a nice smooth undercut under there, and it looks to have a little bit slightly larger trigger guard than some of the other guns in this class, like a Glock 43. I would compare this probably more to like the size of the SIG 365. Something like a Glock 43X is going to be more the size with that full grip right there. But this is also going to have a 3.3 inch barrel, so it's going to be really, really good for concealment. This being the MRD version, it is going to come with a optics plate, and it is cut for the Shield RMSC, I believe, so anything with that cut will fit on there just fine. You've got some little U sights in the back and a orange night sight on the front. One of the first things I noticed when picking this up is that you can definitely pick up that front sight very, very well. One different thing about this gun compared to the others is that it's not a striker fired pistol. So it looks just like all the other pistols in its class, the old striker fired pistols. This is actually an internal hammer fired pistol, single action, so you're not going to have that real heavy double action pull on the first one. And I believe they say the trigger comes in around 4.5 to 5 pounds. We're going to measure that and see where it comes in at. All right, we've got a Wheeler trigger scale right here, and let's go ahead and just see what our trigger pulls are coming in at. All right, first one coming in at 5 pounds. Second one right at 5 pounds. And do one more. Exactly 5 pounds. So that's probably closer to what I would have guessed is a 5 pound trigger pull, based on feeling it out of the box. As far as the trigger pull, you do have kind of a lot of take up, and it's rather spongy. So you get to that wall, and then after that, it's pretty crisp. So the reset is pretty long. keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, right there. And then after that, there's not much take up. So the reset is a little longer, and that's something that you kind of just work out with getting rounds down range with the gun. Most triggers are going to be just fine. It's just a matter of getting that feel for how the trigger and the gun are going to work together and just getting in a rhythm with it. So the trigger is, I mean, it's fine. The website says best in class trigger. Don't quite think I agree with that. That's a pretty big claim, and it's just not really agreeing with that. For a size comparison, probably the closest thing I have with an extended mag, like I said, it's probably about the size of a SIG 365. The other one I would go with would probably be the IWI Masada Slim. So with this one, with the mag, I'm gonna get my whole hand on the gun. Same with the FN Reflex. As far as barrel length goes, these are gonna be pretty similar. Let's see if we can get these right up next to each other. So there's the size comparison for barrel length. As far as the grip, obviously with the extended mag, the FN Reflex is going to be a fuzz longer, but with the concealed mag, the FN Reflex is going to be just a fuzz shorter than the Masada Slim. But one of the claims that we were talking about, the best in class trigger, while I have it here, honestly, it's probably going to go to this. If I had to pick, the trigger in this one, oh, it's just so good. So I reset, not much, and then a nice good trigger pull. And just for comparison, let's go ahead and just get some weights on this one. All right, first one comes in at just over 3 pounds. All right, second trigger pull. Just, I mean, that's almost at 3 pounds. Yeah, let's do one more just for good measure. And that one's coming in at 3 pounds again. So my initial thought when seeing that is, hey, that trigger's probably too light to carry. One thing with that though is this trigger does not feel like it's too light to carry. This is one that I train with all the time. This is one that my wife actually trains with all the time. This is probably her favorite gun to carry. And the trigger is just so smooth on it. But that's just a little comparison for guns in its class. So while this trigger is not bad, I'm gonna have to disagree with the best in class. Where the FN Reflex lacks in the trigger pull, even though, like I said, it's not a bad trigger, but it's not best in class. It makes up for with the concealability. So I believe this gun, let me double check real quick. It comes in at 18.4 ounces. So that's pretty light. That's probably gonna be lighter than the Masada Slim, obviously. And the overall length of it, I believe, is 6.2 inches. If you're strictly going for concealability, I have not shot this gun yet, but my initial impressions are this is going to be very, very easy to conceal. Now, as far as concealment, one plus, at least for me, and it could be for you if you own a Glock 43X or 48, is this is a Glock 48 holster. I also use it for a 43X because the only difference is the slide length, but this actually fits right in to those holsters, and you can carry without having to swap or get a new holster, which is going to be huge. And just based on looking at it, I can tell this is going to conceal well. This is a tier 1 Axis Slim holster, and I absolutely love carrying with it. I carry my 48 with it a lot, but one of the biggest reasons why I did decide to go with this was that I was not going to have to buy another holster, so that is a plus. we'll go over how to take this apart, because whenever something is not a striker fired, or if it's not made exactly like a Glock, sometimes I'm like, well, how am I going to take this apart? Is it going to be easy to fix if there's anything wrong with it? So it's actually pretty easy. So you lock your slide to the back. We'll take our mag out, and this little tab right here on the front, you're actually just going to push that up like so, bring the slide forward, and pull it off. Just like that. There's your frame, there's your slide, barrel, recoil spring, all that good stuff. And it all comes out very easily. So slide is taken off, barrel's taken out. The internals definitely, they look a little different. Obviously it's a internal hammer fired. So you can see when you pull the trigger, I'll keep my finger in front of this, but that allows this hammer to come forward and hit your firing pin to send the round down range. So that is how you take it apart. Pretty easy. It looks like it'd be very, very simple, easy to clean, all that kind of stuff. And then putting it back together is very simple as well. Put our barrel back in there, put our spring in there, send this to the back, lock that, push that tab back forward, do a little function test, and we're good to go. So very easy takedown, which is a plus. Some of them can be quite a pain in the butt, but FN did a good job on this one. So like I mentioned earlier, the barrel in this is a 3.3 inch barrel, and it is cold hammer forged, has a 110 twist, and it is supposedly very good for accuracy. We will test that out and we will see. I have seen a couple of these come from the factory with sights that are off. Based on looking at it, they look pretty lined up. I'm hoping we're not going to have too much of an issue, but like I said, with this being the optics ready version, we are probably going to throw a dot on here. The dot we're going to put on here is still to be determined. If you have recommendations, please let me know. Leaning towards a FDE Hollison 407K just to keep the FDE going, but we'll see. We'll see where life takes us. So MSRP on these comes in at about $659. I was able to get mine for cheaper at a local gun store near me. You probably can as well. So for what you get for the money, it looks like a pretty good package, pretty comparable to all the others in the market. I do like the concealability aspect of it with being able to run a flush 11 round mag. That was the main reason why I was actually shopping for something of this size. So my initial impressions on this, I'm definitely looking forward to getting out and shooting this. I think it's going to be a good shooting gun. I'm excited to see how well it shoots with it being this small. A lot of the main issues, and not even really issues, when you get a smaller gun, they're going to be more snappy. So I'm not really going to call that an issue, but every gun has its trade-offs. If you're carrying something bigger, it's going to be less snappy. It's going to be harder to conceal, things like that. So looking forward to seeing how it shoots, especially with the trigger. Like I said, it does not feel like a bad trigger. It's coming in at, I think we measured about 5 pounds every time. If there's one thing I want in a trigger, it's consistency. And it is smooth, and I like that as well. So we'll probably go out and we'll get some shots in with it. We will be putting a dot on it soon. Still waiting to decide what we're gonna put on that. But overall, this is the FN Reflex. I'm excited to get out and shoot it, and hopefully we can do some testing and drills with it and see just how good this thing really is. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.